Hey, we're live again doing this thing that we do.
All right.
This is, in fact, episode 61. No, 62. 62 of Slurp Toast, a podcast. 62 episodes, my friend. Look at us.
Damn.
Who knew? We're
Wow.
moderately consistent and cranking them out.
Who knew?
So, what have you been up to since last we spoke on the 19th of June?
Trying to get settled.
Okay. Here, I'll give you some settling music. This one. That's a prefab bed. Are you settled? You're muted. I believe you're frozen, in fact. So it looks like Steve is frozen. Oh, there. Are you back? You're muted. There we go.
I am here.
There you are. I can hear you again. So
Okay.
the question before the court is, what have you been up to since the last podcast? Looks like you've been doing some traveling.
I don't know. Driving to Indiana doesn't really count as travel, does it?
I thought I saw you were like in the Pacific Northwest somewhere. Or did I hallucinate that?
I'm going to go with hallucinate.
Okay. All right. Never mind. Ignore me then. I think we just synced
Yep.
back up. Okay. So what was in Indiana? Just visiting family?
We'll see. No, Turkey Run State Park. There we go.
Okay. Are there
There
feral
we go.
turkeys there?
No, maybe there were at one time. It's like this park that's not that far from like where my parents are from.
Okay.
And the entire time growing up, never saw it.
Ain't that always
Until
the way?
yeah, exactly. Until Kristen and I started going, and then it was like, oh wow, this is only half an hour from where I live. What the hell? Um, and so I've been giving my parents a hard time ever since.
Good for you. I would hope so. Yeah,
Yeah.
we had a family, David put together like a cousin family reunion because there's like 20 of us a
Oh
few years
wow.
ago. And we stayed at some like campground that was near where my uncle and grandmother lived. I'm like, that was nice. Had these really swanky cabins. I'm like, why were we camping out in the converted garage when we could have stayed here? Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Isn't that just the yeah? And so I have a whole bunch of like Turkey Run swag that my mom, I'll be like, hey, have you ever heard of this place? She's like, ha ha, yeah, yeah.
And I can see your mom not enjoying that after a while.
Yeah,
Of course, my mom still goes on and on about the damn harmonica. So every time I see her, so you know,
exactly. And that's how I feel. It's like, how long are you going to do this? And it's like, till one of us dies, you know?
haven't you figured that out yet?
That's right.
This only ends one way. In the end, there can be only one.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, let's
Holy
see.
shit.
Did you see the rumor mills a rumor in a million today about the
About?
possible casting of Mr. Fantastic?
Oh, yeah. Ryan Gosling. That's the one we're
Yeah,
talking about,
I
right?
don't hate that. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. I don't hate it. I like it much better than Kylo
Kyle
Wingnet.
Ren. Yeah.
That just wasn't working for me. Yeah, I never. It was Adam Driver was really in consideration. I'm going to make a rocket ship.
Yeah.
I don't know who thought that was a good idea.
I don't know, but I'm glad that it did not come to be.
Yeah. It was making me sad for another
Hey.
failed attempt at the Fantastic Four. What
Yeah.
happened?
But I've been I don't know. I think I'm like super like allergic to something, and so earlier today, like my fingertips were numb, my lips were numb, and I'm like going, am I having another stroke? And it's like, oh, you might be having an extreme allergic reaction. Took an antihistamine. I can feel everything again, so I'm going with allergies.
Hmm. What have you had different or new? I really should update
No,
this and
just
maybe.
hay fever is just really, 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 really bad for whatever reason. So anyway, we'll go with that.
I haven't signed up for like a Threads for us because I can't do another social media. I just can't.
Just kind of wait to see how this one like burns
Yeah,
to the ground.
if it's gonna burn Twitter to the ground, I don't know. I guess we'll go with whoever wins in the final battle. Aren't Zuckerberg and Elon Musk supposed to have a cage fight somewhere sometime soon anyway for the rights to the internet and mankind's future?
It's one of those where I have noticed in like the last week that the right wing stuff has died way, way down, but then everything else I used to follow has died way, way down. And so I'm wondering if people are just,
Are
packing
we talking
up
about
and going home.
Twitter?
Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah, he throttled back your content like last week or something. I just saw headlines. I can't. I live in Austin. I can't deal with Elon Musk any more than I have to. Um, so it's like every time I see a Tesla, I want to take my giant SUV and run it off the road. But that's just me. I may have some personal
I
issues. So and there's a lot of them
no, I don't
around
think
here.
that's yeah, he's I don't know. I think it's been an abject lesson in that let's not elevate people to a level of genius and worshipfulness based on them sitting on a pile of money. You
Yeah,
know, they are, especially one who may or may not have inherited an emerald mind, may or may not have just bought into some of these companies, and then
well, that's
as
the
he has
thing. I
shown himself to
mean,
be on Twitter, oh holy shit!
yeah, that should be his handle at oh holy shit. Um, no, I mean that's the thing. I never have bought him as the boy genius because he bought into a lot of those companies he made his money on late. Like
Exactly, or he bought in at
he
the right
didn't. He
time and
did.
he got out.
Yeah, yeah. He leveraged himself well. That's all he's really done, in my estimation. I mean,
Oh, I know. And if we had a bunch of followers, they'd all be like, "You son of bitches, you don't know. He did this for SpaceX for
your
whatever."
last
Anybody can blow
SpaceX
a
blew
rocket
up.
up. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean
yeah.
that's like 4th of July 101.
But
Strap
we've
shit
learned a
to
lot.
strap shit to explosives and launch it. That's just basic fireworks.
That's right. Basic fireworks. That's all SpaceX is. It's fireworks on steroids.
I've solved the equation,
Hmm.
and Teslas are just those little remote control cars that we used to have when we were kids with the batteries in them. That's all that is.
Yeah.
Self driving car with batteries. It's just like the little remote
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
control Jeep I had. Yeah.
With two buttons.
Wow.
One went first, and the other one did half a K turn.
Yeah, and had a teeny tiny steering wheel that only went so far, and
That's it, exactly.
you
Right.
could never turn all the way around.
No donuts, no figure eights.
No,
You'd
no.
be lucky not to run into the refrigerator, dishwasher, or just beat the hell out of the trim in the house.
Exactly. Yep.
Big
Yep.
long rubber black streaks along the trim.
What kind of
Just
vehicle did you have? Mine came from Sears, and it was a brown Jeep. I know that.
we've had several over the years. I know I had a Jeep. I know I had police car. I'm trying to think of what else we had. I think I had a Batmobile type of thing.
Nice.
Just basically fun little,
Yeah.
I never got into like the big remote control cars that, that if you scaled them up would go 120.
Yeah. That required actual fuel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And care and maintenance.
It's like having a car. What do you mean I gotta change the oil filter? It's teeny tiny.
It's this little tiny thing. Man, I just use
and I'll make an oil filter wrench that small.
No. Oh, yes.
Pair of tweezers. We're in the weeds already, by the way.
So be it.
You remember the little race cars that you would pull them back and they would go till they click?
Yes.
The little like Hot Wheels size cars, you pull them back till they would click and then they'd zoom away.
Yes.
That's kind of like a Tesla.
That's how you charge it at night. Is you and the boy
You
go
just
out
pull
to
it
the end of
backwards.
the driveway and just push it back into the garage the next morning. Just
Till
pop
you
the
click.
brake and whee, away you go.
Yeah, if you're gonna make a lot tighter turn because then putting it on the Hot Wheels track and then zooming down the road, you got to make that turn. That 2-wheel Dukes of Hazzard turn in the Tesla coming out of the driveway.
Or it's like one of those old
realistically,
Knievel things with the crank that you'd put the bike on, you crank it and pop that thing loose. Yeah.
I had like the miniature, like they made like miniature versions of those stunt cycles. Mine had Spider-Man, and so his like arms would hold onto the handlebars, and like
and
he
then
could
the
pose.
body would just like fling around.
Some stupid ramps in my living room as a kid for that thing. Can I fly it into the bookcase? Let's find out.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Dada, Spider-Man's arm broke again. Can you tape that back up for me? Thanks.
Yes.
Speaking
I remember.
of toys of our childhood, my dad became Big Dave was the through his own goodwill ended up running a Mego hospital because the first time one of my Megos the elastic broke, he figured out how to restring it, and I told people, and then I was coming home with boxes of broken Megos. He was having to put them back together. People were coming by the house. That'll learn you, Dave.
You done messed up, Dave.
I gotta fix my son's dolls now.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah. So the Migos, they're back. They're back. If you go to Walmart, you can find.
I'm looking forward to looking for some of those. Oh, really? Green Arrow?
Have I seen Green Arrow? I've seen Green Lantern. I've seen Aquaman. I don't know if I've seen Green Arrow.
I was gonna say because I have the original Mego Green Arrow still. That's one of the few I still have.
Nice.
Yeah, I've got a Thor upstairs. My mom sent me home my Batman and my Catwoman, who have definitely seen better days. You can tell where I got these figures in relation to to my age, because Thor clearly was one of the last ones I got because he's almost in pristine condition. Like except for the fact that the spike that held his helmet in place was never right. So that's but otherwise the costume is like damn near pristine. The hammer's there, nothing's worn out. He's got those stupid Thor boots. Yeah, he had to be right he had to have been maybe the last one I ever bought. So
nice.
But the Batman, clearly the first one I ever bought because his costume has seen better days. He's wearing chukka boots, and Mom clearly did a repair job on his costume because the manties are not the original ones. I know that. So I'll have to bring them for the next one and hold them up side by side.
How it
started, how it's going. I don't know.
How it's going? Yeah, there we go. Oh man. Oh, that is way too yellow.
You should have that checked.
Yeah, no, I'm finally getting around to uploading stuff to Slurp Shop. So nice. I'm putting up the Vincent Van Gogh, the Sunflower is Mine t-shirt.
Nice.
Trying
Look for
to
that
figure.
soon in Slurp Shop.
Actually,
Shop.
it's up now. So
There you go.
pretty
Go to our
sure it's up.
website
Go to the
and click on the
website
link.
and click on the link. Yes. Wait, can you go to? Yeah, you can at the Slurp Shop. It should be up there now.
Cool.
Yeah. So I've got a couple more that I may upload here or try to get uploaded tonight, and possibly even buy one. I wouldn't mind wearing a "Sunflower is Mine" T-shirt to Comic-Con.
I
Whether
would
anybody would get it.
I've been thinking about buying one for Comic-Con too. Maybe I'll get the Kung Pao. What is it? Kung Fu.
Oh, they made me take that down.
They did?
Yes. I don't know, but I'm going to put it back up.
Okay. What? That's all
King
public domain.
Foos. Yeah, it's King Foos, and I think I'm going to take the Elvis stuff out of there, maybe, and just like tag it peanut butter bananas or something.
Okay.
So because I figured it must have been the Elvis thing. It was like the copyright holder Sony, and it came down. They took it. I got notified like right after the movie came out.
Oh yeah.
And you're kind of like,
were.
hey, studios, you guys are really doing, one, a sloppy job of this, and two, come on, anybody can slap up a a snarling pompadour with a jumpsuit, and you can't stop us.
It's are you shutting down every Elvis impersonator around the world? I mean, because seriously, that's doing more harm to your IP than we are.
A lot of those guys were you want to talk about doing more to keep the brand alive. That is something I think they have. The question is, do I look good in bright yellow? Okay, now that one has some pop.
All right, I will take a look. I will take a look tomorrow. I'm gonna get one ordered too. I want one to wear. Something to wear with my Lucha shirt.
There we go. Oh yeah, that reminds me. That's the next one to go up here in a second.
So, have you seen the Indiana Jones movie while you're uploading? I'll ask that.
I did, and I saw the movie.
I liked it.
I didn't dislike it. It was one of those where it kind of, I felt it just that third act. I don't know. It just did. The third act didn't work for me.
I didn't like that they actually traveled back in time. It's always been sort of, that was too far. It's always been sort of just around the edge of mysticism. But to actually go back in time was a step too far. I will agree with you on that.
There we go. That's the best way to say it. Because I did not think that it just. That's it. All I'm going to say is it just felt like it went too far.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I saw a lot of hate about the de-aging CGI at the beginning of the movie. I thought they did a pretty damn good job.
Very well done. Yes.
The only CGI that ever bothered me in the entire movie was when they were fighting on top of the train, and then they pulled back and they were running on the top of the train, and it looked like the battle scenes from Lord of the Rings where the CGI was just bouncing people off of things.
It was just a little wonky, and they had no weight.
Yeah, it was a little stick figure-y. That was the only time I was like, oh. I mean, literally, like, the movie started, like, wow, he looks young. Oh, wait, never mind.
No, that part was very well done. But it just, no, I mean, that was my gripe, was for him to go back to Greek time. It was kind of like, okay, I get it that, the Ark of the Covenant had the mystical god powers, but I thought that was okay. The cup with the Crusaders cup.
Yeah.
I was actually okay with that one because it didn't seem to be so. The crystal cave with the skulls and the aliens was just like, what the fuck did you do to this?
That movie was garbage. Let's be honest. I just said to Laura the other day, the fact that you can make an Indiana Jones movie that has Harrison Ford, Kate Blanchett, and John Hurt in it, and it is far and away the worst movie in the series, should tell you everything you need to know about that.
There's a problem. Yes,
Yeah,
we've
because it's
made a
not the
mistake.
talent. It's not the talent.
No.
But yeah, no, I thought it was fun. I mean, we went the other morning. Jack was home for the weekend, so we went and saw it. Took the boys and had some popcorn and just chilled out for a couple hours. It was fun. I didn't hate it. I liked
No,
it enough.
it was.
I mean,
It was.
it's number 4 out of 5, but but I mean, okay, let's do that. Well, rank the Indiana Jones movies. Go. Number 5.
The aliens is the fourth one.
Yes, Crystal Skull is 5. Oh, absolutely. All right, 4.
Four.
The new one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the new one. 3 would be 2, 2 would be 3, and 1 would be 1.
Yes. Yes, that's the proper order. Absolutely, that's the only way you can rank those movies. I don't know who would rank. I mean, I guess, and I think the reason that 2 slips so much is it's tonally so different than anything else in the series, right? I mean, yes, it's high adventure, but it's weirdly gory, and I don't know, something about it.
It's the reason
for PG-13.
It's the reason we have PG-13. Yeah, that's correct.
Yep.
Ah,
so
that one's going up. Tequila plancha. Or plancha, yeah.
Oh,
sorry.
Okay, that might be the one to go. That might be the one to go with the luchador shirt.
Oh, well, it looks like I'll be working on that a little bit. Yeah. Image is too small.
You had something you wanted to talk about, so I'm going to let you take the wheel here, and then I'm going to jump in when I'm ready. Go for it.
Well, you're going to be jumping in pretty soon because. So anyway, we do this training. Guy was in from out of town. We had a break, and he's playing banjo music. And so somebody said, "Go play Steve Martin on the banjo." Yeah, he's playing banjo music. So anyway, he starts playing a couple of the songs, and I said to play, I think, Rare Bird Alert. One of the albums is better than the others, right? And I forget which one. So I told him that one. And he said something about it. He goes, "Oh yeah." He goes, "Steve Martin." He goes, he was fabulous, and his comedy was really transformational. And I kind of, it struck me as a sort of an odd observation. And I wait a minute. I've been thinking about it like as we go to. I'm driving to Indiana. I go transformational, and it's like because before I left, I go, the whole Steve Martin's act was that it was an act. The act was an act. It was very self-referential. It was very self-aware. It was
self-aggrandizing,
but it was all part of the act as an act.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's what. Okay. And so, and I started thinking about that. I was like, okay, so the act was the act, but is that transformational? And the answer is, I would have to say no, because nobody has done as self-aware an act as Steve Martin did. I don't think that anybody does, and so, I mean, it's like, I almost wrote the guy back and was like, I think I disagree with your premise. I would say that, transformational comedians would be like Lenny Bruce, would be like Richard Pryor,
Carlin. Second iteration of Carlin.
Yeah.
Early Carlin, less so. Once he
I would say that
turned on and dropped out.
Yeah, because like, I don't like a place for my stuff. I hate that routine. I just think it's too. I've never liked that routine.
Cutesy.
It's cutesy, but I've always thought it tried too hard. That it's like, hey, I got a place for my stuff, and then I go on vacation, and I get a little bit of smaller, and I just felt like it just sort of. I wasn't quite sure where.
I can see that. As his bits go, it's not an all-time. I mean, it's not one of his best for sure.
Right. And so I would say like Pryor, who deals with all of his pain of growing up, and I think
Mhm.
so because I started thinking, I go, okay, so what if you look at the guys who are coming out of vaudeville, and then you every now and again, like when you like watch right here on the big show is Henny Youngman, and it comes out, wah, 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 take my wife, please. Wah, 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 wah. It's that setup joke, setup joke, setup joke,
Yeah.
setup joke. And if you look at it, Gilbert Godfrey was basically doing that act there towards the end.
So, well, that's what Rodney Dangerfield did.
And Rodney Dangerfield, even Joan Rivers was. Somebody
Oh,
told the
yeah.
somebody told the Joan Rivers, it's like, oh, please give me a break, give me a break. Can we talk? Can we talk? The
Yeah.
night after my honeymoon, my husband turns to me, what? You can't cook either?
It's a good joke, though.
It's
A really great joke.
oh, please, please. I was.
Yeah, she would be transformational because she was, I mean, I guess arguably it might be Phyllis Diller, but I think Joan Rivers had a much larger degree of success thereby opening more doors.
Yes,
I don't know.
think so too. No, I think you're right. I think because before, I mean, you can't count Miss Maisley because she's not real. But you have like Moms Mobley or whatever.
Moms Mabley, yep.
Moms Mabley, Phyllis Diller. And then I think, you got Joan Rivers, who comes out of the nightclubs and sort of, I think, yes, I would give her transformational because I do think that she opens a door that you don't have Nikki Glazer, you don't have, any of those people.
Amy
Uh-oh.
Schumer, none of the
Amy Schumer, yeah.
Eileen Boozler, none of those people are working like they did. You're there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Okay, so I would agree with you. Steve Martin, not transformational. And I think you said it the other day, and I've been thinking about it too. Not really even inspirational because nobody's really tried to do his act because I think smart comics know they can't do his act.
Well, and that's the other thing is that comedy is so individualized, that if you're going to make it as a comic, you have to find your voice, and your voice needs to be, authentic and unique to you. So I think Mitch Hedberg was sort of a reincarnation of Stephen Wright. Kind of in that same thing.
Yep.
Dimitri Martin kind of falls in there as well. But even they are still sort of doing the setup joke kind of a thing.
The one I like and Jack really liked, and I can't think of his name right now. Hold on, give me a second. Shit, it'll come to me in a minute. The guy who does the the complete right turn into dark territory is his punchline every time, and I can't think of his name.
Oh, Jeselnik.
Yes.
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 He's
Anthony Jeselnik.
He's also though in the vein of just setup and jokes, setup, joke.
Yeah, but it's the way he builds his jokes because you can never predict where it's going. I mean, like it's like the opposite of Henny Youngman. You know exactly where Henny Youngman's joke's going to end. Take my wife, please. You know exactly where Rodney Dangerfield's joke's going to end. I don't get no respect. You have no fucking idea where Jeselnik's going to land. That's the thing.
Usually an awful, awful place.
Oh, and it's so dark and so bleak. And
my girlfriend called me the other night. She says, "Help, Anthony, help. There's a man coming into my apartment. It's terrible. Took me hours to go back to sleep."
I was going somewhere, speaking of comics that have this. I was going somewhere with Connor the other day, and I had clearly been listening to Sirius XM comedy before we got in the car, right? Because it was on 95. And it must have been 4th of July because they were running full hour specials. And it was Dave Attell's Skanks for the Memories. And I was like, Connor typically will make me change the comedy channel. I'm like, just give this one a minute. And I watched him as it started landing and those jokes started hitting because we turned it right about the time of the Unfuckables. And
he calls me Horsecock Johnson because 2 inches looks like him to a midget.
There's a beautiful rainbow.
Wrap her up in the cover. Thanks, Palm Parrot.
Yes. It was, and it was the response was kind of like, and I think this is probably appropriate. The first time you and I heard Sam Kinison, like, oh God, he's actually saying that shit, you know?
Yeah, because I always wondered, like, where does Sam Kinison kind of fall on that? You
See, and
know?
I think Sam is overlooked at this point. I think he's kind of lost somewhere, not to people of our age, and certainly not to the comics that came up around him, but in the greater scheme of things, I think he's gotten lost, and I think it's a shame
Yeah.
because
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to. He's certainly not. I don't know. Was he? I I see, because I think here's the other argument for that, because like then there's the okay, well, who was better, Sam or Dice? And Dice is still around because he didn't die. Okay, it's this the Dennis Leary joke. What's the difference between Dennis Leary and Bill Hicks? No cure
Mhm.
for cancer.
That's right. Well, yeah, because
Um,
there's always that sort of, and that's where you get into like the individual voices. Because Leary was always accused of stealing Hicks's routine,
yeah.
and Dice
Well,
was
Hicks wasn't
accused
using
of
it
lifting
anymore
Leary's routine, huh?
because Hicks wasn't using it anymore.
Afraid they're gonna find that porno wing I built on in the closet.
Okay, transformative comics, Bill Hicks. I will put him on the list
Oh
for
yeah,
sure. For sure.
and I think because well, with somebody like that, and maybe he kind of follows. I think he said things, and he was political too, and he just used comedy to speak his mind and kind of
Hmm.
speak his truth, which
Yes,
is
he
a
was.
little bit
He
where
was.
Carlin was going towards the angry, bitter old man that he would
Yeah.
just say some stuff that would really rip into pretense, and Hicks would really rip into these godless fucker. I mean, some of his routines where
Yeah.
you're like, if you're in the audience, you're squirming.
Yeah. He definitely would make you uncomfortable. And I saw Carlin. The only time I ever saw Carlin live, he was well into the angry old man stage of his career, and it was not all that much fun.
Um,
It
I
was.
saw him in Vegas, and I saw him here in town. And here in town, it's kind of towards the end, a couple years before he died. And he really did have some good material, and there was some good stuff in there that was kind of sweet and gentle, which was weird, because he's just raving about how stupid, you pretentious twat, with their water bottles.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Well, we saw him. We saw him the first time we went to Vegas. Would have been like 98, 97, somewhere there, and like I'll never forget it. We saw him at Bally's, so they had those tables that run the
Ooh.
length of the room and butt up to the stage, and
Oh yeah.
we were like right up against the stage on like stage right, and some dude thought it was a good idea to heckle Carlin, and I've
Yeah,
never
it's like
felt more.
heckling Richard Belzer.
Carlin got down on all fours and got in the guy's face. Like he was on all fours on the stage at Bally's, just eviscerating this guy all the way out the door. He didn't stop. The guy left, but Carlin stayed on him the entire time. And it was talk about uncomfortable. I mean, it wasn't just heck, like he was just berating this dude. He was just it was awful. It was so awful. Oh.
But
I
yeah,
my
so
I was gonna say,
go on.
so I've always said that like I think our particular age range has an interesting view of what's funny because of who were the comics of the day as we started becoming aware of things like that. You know, I always say it's Robin Williams, Steve Martin, Andy Kaufman, and John Belushi kind of are like the four lights for me. You
Okay.
know, that just kind of like, oh, something's happening here. And we were in like, we were like somewhere between 9 and 12 when all that was going on. It's very formative that we were seeing this stuff, It
Uh-huh.
informs a lot of what we find funny that other people don't necessarily, I think.
I would yes. Because yes. Yeah, yes.
I mean,
We
I can't explain Andy Kaufman to my children. I just can't. I'm like, You'd have to watch it. You
You
won't
have
think
to
it's
see it.
funny. You won't think it's
But
funny.
No,
It's fucking brilliant. It's not necessarily comedy, but it's fucking brilliant.
Well, and that's the thing. Now it maybe in that sense, you could say that those guys following Steve Martin who are doing acts that are not acts. I don't know what you'd call them, or maybe that's a stretch. Let's go with it's a stretch, because yeah, Andy Kaufman coming out and singing to "Pop Goes the Weasel." What the hell is that? And then he ends
And the
with
Mighty Mouse theme is the one I remember. Yeah.
yes, that one, and then doing the Elvis
No,
impersonation. It was
the Elvis Presley. Yes, when he transforms from Latka into Elvis before Latka had a name. I mean,
when he was just Foreign Man.
you see that once and you're like, okay, I don't know what I just saw, but I know I want to see it again.
Well, and there you
Right?
have, I think, yeah, oh yeah, comedy is just sort of, and maybe comedy is not the vehicle you're seeing performance art,
Yeah.
under the
Kaufman
guise
100%
of comedy,
was.
the intergender gun.
Taking the whole audience out for like milk and cookies. I mean, it's not a comedy show. That's just, but no, I found a DVD somewhere of the whole Memphis thing, like interviews, like promos he cut that they aired, the matches. It's amazing to watch, like with any sort of like appreciation for wrestling. Like, I'm Andy Kaufman. I'm from Hollywood. I'm not from Memphis, Tennessee. This is a bar of soap. I know you people don't know what this is, but I mean, something as simple as holding up a bar of live soap and dragging the whole town. I mean, I don't know. I've always held a special place in my heart for Andy, just because I think a lot of what he did sticks with me to this day.
Well, yeah, and so there's that, and you're right. I remember the old Saturday Night Live skit about like funny haha or funny strange, and Babe watching Portlandia one day. It's like, why do you like it? She goes, well, it's not like funny. She goes, it's just like funny, strange. It's like, oh my God.
It holds true, man. It's a truism.
Child gets it,
Yeah. I mean, my boys, because they're 20-year-old manlets now, they think the Impractical Jokers are the funniest thing they've ever seen. I'll watch it with them sometimes. I've seen an episode. I know how it's going to go. It's only a matter of who's going to humiliate who more at this point. And I have no problem with that because that's 20-year-old humor. I get it. I know. It's what we always do. When you're 20, you think that shit's hysterical.
Yeah. But I mean, Dave Letterman did it. Others have done it.
Yeah. You know what I didn't appreciate as a kid, and I appreciated as I got older, was Carson, the way he held the show together.
Yes.
He was always happy to be the straight man. And
let everybody else shine.
Yeah, and when you're like 10 or 11, or at least when I was 10 or 11, and I was up that late, I was like, this isn't funny. He's not funny, but he's the funniest guy in the room because he's letting everybody else run, and he's just playing off of them. So he's really and truly the funniest guy in the room. He knows when to pick his spots. He's not Buddy Hackett vamping for 20 minutes.
We talked about Robin Williams. He goes, oh, he was a genius. Yes. I go, did you ever see him and like Jonathan Winters together? Because Robin idolized Jonathan, and every now and you'd see them on like the Tonight Show, and one of them would go like, oh, where'd you go, son? I'm right here, Dad. Just sign the will right here. Just sign the will. Oh yeah. Jonathan Winters would come out.
Those were magic moments.
Yeah, it's like, you come out in a cowboy hat. It's like, so what's going on with you? He goes, well, just working the yard, working the land. Got to repair a bunch of stuff on the back 40. The cows are getting out, oh, yeah, I flew up here. Did you fly with your wife? Oh, no. She sat about 5 rows back, but he was like in that character that just kind of went with it, which is always
Yeah,
magical to
he was
see.
fast. It was amazingly fast.
And we talk about individual voices, right? So I'm painting house with my cousin's second husband, and he's quasi religious. He's found God, but he's
Okay.
still a d bag, right? It's like it's
Oh,
supposed to make
that's the
you a
worst kind of
better
religion.
person, you know.
Since we've learned in the last few years, sometimes it only amplifies the douchebaggery.
Exactly. Anyway, this was the case, but we're painting a house for my aunt because she works in real estate. So we're painting this condo, and he goes, "Oh man," he goes, "I got it. You got to hear this comedian. He's this great Christian comedian. He works clean. He is funny. He is all kinds of funny." I was like, "All right, throw him on, right?" So he starts playing the routine. He gets about halfway through it, and I'm half listening, and I start finishing the jokes out loud. You know, like, and the guy goes, the cousin-in-law, whatever the fuck he is, he's like, he goes, how did you know that? I go, what? He goes, how do you know the ends of his routines? And I'm like, oh, because they're old Bill Cosby routines, verbatim.
Really?
Really?
Wow. That's ballsy.
I mean, my parents had like an old Bill Cosby comedy album. And so it was like really old stuff, like about childbirth. He goes, and then my wife stood up and grabbed my lip and pulled it over
Pulled
the
it
top of
all
my
over
head.
my.
And I'm like going,
Uh-huh.
I can't believe he's doing that bit.
Wow.
And I go, here, in fact, let me just do the next three jokes in his routine. And he goes, what is this? I go, it's a Bill Cosby routine. He goes, no, that's not possible. I go, no, it is entirely possible. And if you were to ever go find a Bill Cosby comedy album, because this is before the internet, you would know this guy is banking on you people not knowing who a black comedian is because you're in a lily white born again church.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
shocking. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why I'm suddenly Owen Wilson. Wow.
Wow. Wow. You got to bend your nose. Wow.
Wow. It does give it a little more resonance, doesn't it?
I did not see that coming.
I can't believe he did that. Wow.
The fact the only way an Owen Wilson impersonation works is if you bend your nose over to the side to create the nasal tones. And then it's just modulating your voice and kind of slowing down and kind of talking about stuff,
The magic of the Owen Wilson. I don't even know what that means. So where does Sam fall in all this? I'm curious what you think, because I struggle with that. Like, I sent the boys some Sam Kinison just to see how how they would respond. I don't think I ever got a reaction back, which annoys me. But was it a time and place
I think he was a
that,
time and place.
like, he
Although I
captured
think
just a moment in time?
a little bit. I think because maybe nobody did misogyny as loudly, as aggressively as he did. Oh, 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 I hope you slide under a gas truck and taste your own blood.
If I got good at sex, I wouldn't have to give away everything I own every 5 fucking years.
Years. Ow, 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 ow. More capital T, 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 more capital T.
A pitiful. Maybe he was just a product of his time. Maybe
I think
that's
he's a product of
why.
his time, cocaine.
Well, definitely
Uh,
cocaine.
I think
Ask
that
anyone who was around him; well, they'll tell you he did all the cocaine that Robin Williams left behind.
yeah, I think that's even one of the jokes from one of their routines. But I think Sam would have mellowed. I don't think because Dice Clay, you can't still be doing the nursery rhymes after 30 years or whatever, you know? And if you
Yeah,
ever see him,
and
man,
I think he's evolved
mhm. I mean, I just
somewhat.
don't think that he's going to
He's
be
evolved some.
given a chance to. I think Sam would have evolved. Um, and we'd probably be all looking back and going,
Yeah,
man,
I
Sam
think
was
he
so
would
much
have.
funnier when he was mad at everybody. You know,
You're right. That's exactly. He might have morphed into Carlin.
maybe so. Maybe
He
so.
might have because he
Or
had
maybe he'd have done
some
a.
reasonable social insight.
Mhm.
Um,
Or he would have mellowed into
you're
Bill
gonna say, or
Hicks.
maybe he would have.
Mellowed into like Bill Hicks.
Yeah,
I was going to say either that or started doing Woody Allen movies like the Dice Man.
like Dice.
Yeah.
Speaking of Dice, I think I said this before, but he's coming to Joe Rogan's comedy club here, and I kept
Oh
thinking
boy.
to myself and to my family, what's the most transgressive act you could really undertake in 2023? Perhaps to see Dice at Joe Rogan's comedy club. I don't know. And I kept thinking about it. I'm like, I never saw Dice live. And then today I actually looked to see how much the tickets were. And I don't want to see Dice $100 worth.
I don't think anybody would want to see Dice 100.
I can think of better ways to spend $100. Well, he's got 2 shows and one is sold out. So there's still some dice men out there. You know, it's
And
funny. Have you ever heard the morning show on Sirius XM's Faction 103? It's Jim Norton and this other guy. And the other morning they had Bill Hicks on, and Hicks was talking about how his biggest show was he played Fenway
okay.
like by himself. He was the headliner for Fenway, which was a big deal because he's from Boston, right? He said, and when he heard I was doing the stadium, Dice reached out to see if there was anything he could do to help me get ready for the show.
Okay.
You know, because Dice knows how to do stadiums, right? He goes, got to do lots of squats, Bill, lots of squats. And I'm thinking, why the fuck am I going to be doing squats? I'm just standing there telling jokes. And then a little while later, I was, have you ever picked up one of Dice's vests? They weigh like 20 pounds. Of course, Dice is doing squats. He's going to walk around with armor on. That's a good point.
Yeah. Those things, and I saw Dice on a Rodney Dangerfield like up and comers special, and he came out, and this was before the Dice Man was a part of the act, and he would come out and he would do jokes. He's the one who did the football player who'd like been hit in the head too many times, and I think it was him. And he was like, and that's my helmet and my shoulder pads. And he would do a couple of impressions. He did like this really amazing De Niro type of thing. But Dice Man was a part of the act that he just came out and sort of did this character.
Mm-hmm.
So it just
And then
always
he did.
fascinated me that he became, well, it's like Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah.
I've heard early routines where he's just like, what is this, Russia? And it's like, then Get Her Done came along and he made all of his money.
Yeah, and then I was going to say, Dice perfected the character, and he's in Pretty in Pink. I don't know if you remember that. He's the doorman at the nightclub, and he's Dice Man. He's the Dice Man. And then he was in a movie called Casual Sex with Leah Thompson and pre-crazy Victoria Jackson, and and he's doing what is essentially Dice, but he's called Vin. He's the Vin Man. I mean, it's Dice 100%. And
that's it.
Shortly thereafter was when he blew up as a stand-up comic doing Dice Man. You can just see he's refining that character through these other things. I'm the best from the East. I'm a wild, crazy beast. I'm the Vin Man. Oh,
yes,
it's like,
exactly.
Really, dude?
That was part of the thing, and I do remember him doing that. So it's like then later when you see him as completely the Dice Man, you're just like, whoa, what the hell happened to you?
And I don't really. I missed.
He got a hold of a Dennis Leary tape and just boom.
I missed the ascent. Like there was a gap where I didn't realize he had become stadium guy, and all of a sudden he was everywhere. And I'm like, wait, that guy? Really? Okay. It's like Dennis Miller said one night on Update. Really, the biggest problem in America today is Andrew Dice Clay. This dude's like Fonzie with Tourette's. He's doing nursery rhymes with curse words in them. Really, this is the biggest thing we have to worry about.
Oh my God, Dennis is a guy that that's because so
don't
many.
even get me
Well,
started
wait a
on
minute.
Dennis.
That whole cast, maybe not that whole cast, but at least Dennis, Lovitz, Victoria Jackson.
Schneider.
Although I think Schneider, yeah, and yeah, they went. I'm curious as to how. I mean, like a Schneider and some of the celebrities who go so far right, because you don't really see a few. I mean, you see some of them who go like so far left, but then they're sort of like Ed Begley Jr. He's still he's a friendly guy. You wouldn't necessarily want to be trapped in an elevator with him talking climate change,
Right.
but you figure you could hang out with him for a while. I think that any time spent with Rob Schneider in a political conversation, and you'd be like, they don't have permitless concealed carry in this state, do they? Because that would help so fucking much.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about shooting you. I'm talking about taking me down.
taking my own life. Thanks, Rob. You may contemplate suicide.
The Stevenator. That's it. We're done. Boom.
Steven Reno. Blacka.
Stand close to me and I'll get us both.
No one else needs to suffer. Dennis Miller used to be one of my favorite comics. I loved the references and the things because it's what I do. I've always done it. And I don't know this for a fact, but my theory is he must have known someone that died in 9/11. I don't know that for a fact, but that's like about the time he became so radicalized is not the right term because that's not what it is, but the switch flipped and he went the other way because he was super liberal.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. And it's like I mean, I watch some of these guys like Scott Baio, which I mean, is it because your career hits a point that you can't accept that, Joni nor the rest of America loves Chachi,
Well, he hung out with Willie Ames too much, I think. Bible man. Thank you. And see, there's my reference for the day.
What do you do after you do all the cocaine? You turn to the Bible.
It's tried and true, man. It's been working since the dawn of Hollywood. Do the drugs, all the sex, and then you go to God. Because let's be honest, Kirk Cameron was shagging before he found God, quote unquote, right? He was banging all those starlets.
Yes.
8 wasn't nearly enough. The house was full, man.
This boy beats world, yeah.
It's a different world than where you come from, baby.
That was an interesting show. It just went from the Lisa Bonet vehicle to the Kadeem. This is Kadeem, right? The kid. To everybody else on the show. And then it became, the Sinbad thing. Which I saw Sinbad live.
Hold on. Yeah. We're rebooting again. Okay. Go ahead. What'd you say?
I saw Sinbad live. And he worked clean. And he was funny. I mean, he was genuinely like knock you out of your seat funny. And I saw him with there's 3 white people in the entire audience, and that would have been me and my 2 friends. But we sat there. But I mean, it was a great show. Just a great show. And I know, like, there's guys I would love to see. I would like to have seen the Kings of Comedy.
Early in our dating life, I can.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, would that not have been Bernie Mac?
Early in our dating life, I somehow convinced Laura to. Cedric.
Cedric the Entertainer.
Who else was it?
Steve Harvey. Cedric the
Entertainer. Was it Robin Harris? Steve Harvey.
I don't know.
Bernie Mac. There was was it Robin Harris? I can't remember. very early in our dating life, I convinced Laura to go see Jeff Altman with me.
Can
Our
you
seats
see the
were
canary trapped up my nose?
so our seats were on the table that butted up against the stage. Like we were in the firing range, except the girl that sitting next to me got up and walked out in the middle of the show to go to the
Oh,
restroom.
man.
So she took the flack. When it was the "Hey, can you see the dog in my nose? The whole thing, right? Like he would step down onto the table, lean in. Yeah. And then after the show, I had his tape, and I asked him to sign. He's like, "Oh, so you're the one who bought this? Okay,
D.L. Hewley, by the way. Hewley was the other. Yeah.
that's right. That is solid. That's a solid starting four
Oh,
right there,
God.
man. All those dudes are funny.
I've heard Steve Harvey did some routine like about going to his lowbrow, low class
The
niece's
wedding.
wedding, the wedding with.
Oh
That's
my
like
god,
stop the
that's
car,
just
pull over. And I swear to God, she had all these cages, and it was it was pigeons
pigeons, chickens, and
and chickens. It wasn't
there's a,
doves. It was,
it was
and they
rats.
were and they're going along with a stick, pushing them out the cages. That's like the groom had
Had
the
the
ankle
ankle
bracelet.
monitor. It was shocking him because he was too far away. And the wife's like, "We shouldn't be doing this in church."
Oh
Oh,
no,
you
you
wanted
brought
to come. You're staying now. That is one of the funniest things I've ever heard. That routine is so funny.
Oh, that was funny. Oh man, Bernie Mac does like a beatbox version of the national anthem. You ever heard that one?
No.
That's actually pretty cool. You're kind of like going, I would listen to this at a baseball game. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, America, oh America.
I I used to, I got in with some of the folks that I used to work with because I knew who Robin Harris was
Mm.
and could say, "Oh, that's Baby Kids." Funny is funny, man. I don't care.
Oh no. Oh God.
George Lopez will make me cry on occasion. I used to find him so funny. Still do. But like some of his stuff where he's like pigeon Englishing the whole
Then this,
thing.
hey, oye, oye, mamacita,
Yeah. Now here's one for you. Let's see if you remember this guy because he died. Probably too. You remember Dennis Wolfberg?
No, I don't.
He
I
was
do not.
kind of a mousy guy. He was like kind of coming into his own in the early '90s. Red hair, beard. He's these giant eyes,
Oh, I do remember him.
and like his delivery was always. The people in the room next to me were having sex like a pair of lust crazed weasels. And when you said that the other day, I thought of him for some reason as somebody who, probably went too soon because he was right on the cusp of.
Mitch Hedberg. I mean,
Yeah.
you listen to some of his routine, and they're just. It's kind of fun because I've got several of the albums, and there's some where you can tell he's like clean, and then you can tell there's some where he's like all jacked up. the jokes are kind of not as funny. Fuck it, man.
Saved by the buoyancy of citrus, man.
We have a place that is only open for like dinner and lunch, and I keep wanting to call it the chair lunch dinner.
Nice.
Like McDonald's, and they say, not all restaurant. What is it? Participation may vary. I'd like to have McDonald's and not participate in shit. You want a Big Mac? We got soup and SpaghettiOs.
Yeah, he was funny as hell. But you're right. He's in the Stephen Wright tree for sure.
Oh, very much so.
Stephen Wright, man. The first time I heard him, I was like, what is happening? Because this is insane and brilliant, and I love it.
Because somebody asked me, they go, "Who is Stephen Wright?" I go, "So I went in for a job interview the other day, and they asked if I had any questions. I said yes. If you're driving in a car at the speed of light, You turn on their headlights. Does anything happen? The guy says, I don't know. I said, I don't want your job.
A large seashell collection. You keep it scattered on the beaches around the world.
I accidentally put my car key in my house, and it started up. So I took it for a drive, parked it on the freeway, yelled at everybody to get out of my driveway.
You can't have everything. Where would you put it?
Put it.
That's fucking brilliant. I'm sorry.
When I was your age, I was 9.
Here, I
was your age. I was younger than you. Yeah.
You know who, like, I'm surprised this hasn't come up in this conversation. The first comic that I sort of like really appreciated as a comic was Eddie Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
Like those 2 specials he did when we were teenagers are still funny as hell. Your wife is a Bigfoot, isn't she, Gus? Goonie Google, motherfucker.
Goonie Google.
My dad caught Dave listening to one of my Eddie Murphy cassettes, and I thought he was going to kill me. I believe you brought this filth into my house. Funny though, Dad. It's just filthy. And he took him away, and I went and stole him back. But like, I can remember going to like church hiking trips with my Walkman with the Eddie Murphy on, and we were passing those 2 tapes back and forth. Just
well, we had memorized both the Dice Man and the Sam Kinison in college.
Oh yeah,
and that's where when I say no one was so loudly and aggressively misogynistic as Sam.
Yeah,
because we had a friend of ours. She came to the room while we were listening to Sam, and she made it about halfway through. She's like, I can't listen to this anymore. She got up and left.
See, I had a similar thing happen with Dice when I was just starting to date Scary Sherry. I was over at Matt's apartment, and we were watching Dice's special. With somebody, Matt had recorded it at the TV store he worked at. So we were watching, and she came over, and we were in tears. And she was very uncomfortable the entire time. It's like, just plays different, I guess. I mean, and it's, yeah. Oh, Little Pet Blue, he needed the money.
Oh. And it's kind of funny because, like, I don't, because I've seen like Donald Rickles doing crowd work, and he goes, "Look at you, you big German Nazi man," blah blah blah. And the guy stands up and he's like a foot and a half taller than Don Rickles. He goes, "Okay, you want to spit on a Jew?"
Rickles was fearless, man. He didn't give a shit. I mean,
I think what's funny is that he and Bob Newhart were like lifelong friends.
Couldn't be more different.
Oh my God! And like Bob Newhart, in college, we found one of his albums.
I have the button down mind.
Down mind of yes.
Yeah. The one-sided phone calls.
Yes. And somebody was talking about how before he went and started doing that, he would do those one-sided phone calls. He's like, I'd be sitting there was some interview. He goes, yeah. He goes, I'd be sitting at my desk and I'd be working. I get this phone call and it's Bob. And Bob would be like, oh yeah, the things are happening here at the factory, and and he'd just like do some ramble story. Then he'd hang up, and then he'd call me back with more of the story. I'm up on the 2nd floor now, and the popcorn is everywhere. I gotta go.
Popcorn is everywhere. Oh God, yeah. No, that came out on CD, and because I'd never been able to find a copy of it. And I bought it like immediately. I think it was like, through Columbia House. They had it like done. Send it to me.
I think both my grandmothers worked for Columbia House at one time because they used to be in Terre Haute.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So they had a lot of pennies floating around.
Apparently they were the extortionists. Oh, you want out of the club? Well, just buy another 12 albums.
At double retail.
Double retail. So I've got you down for Lawrence Welk and AC/DC. Got it.
I always loved how they made some determination on what they should send you every month based on, I don't know what. they
What the
clearly didn't have
criteria is?
what the criteria was. Yeah, because one month it'd be like, we're gonna send you Eliminator by ZZ Top. The next month it'd be Cool in the Gang. What? None of my 12 for a penny were anything near Cool in the Gang. Where did that come from?
Perry Como Christmas. What the hell?
I have a copy of John Lennon's greatest hits that I didn't send back in time.
Imagine there's no return policy.
It's not that easy. Don't try.
Oh my God, yes. Red Fox is one I've heard, and he was just filthy. I
Oh
mean,
God, yes.
but the Buddy Hackett, HBO ran a Buddy Hackett special, and he's filthy too.
Yeah.
Again. But he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. You look upset, ma'am. Is the language? Do you find my language offensive?" Then you hear a shaker. He goes, "Okay, well, I'm sorry. Here, I'll tell you a joke. Okay, here you go. It's a good joke. It's a clean joke. These two lesbians are fucking an alligator on a crosstown bus."
I may have told you this story before. But there was a time I was in my early teens. My dad was trying to relate to me more. Okay. And so he would let me pick something to go do. And I wanted to go see Richard Pryor's Live on the Sunset Strip. Now, I didn't really know that much about Richard Pryor. All I really knew at that point was he was supposed to be really, really funny. Okay. So my dad takes me. About 10 minutes in, Dad is dozed off because I think he's just trying not to kill me, right? I laughed. And this was the one right after he'd caught himself on fire.
So I heard the jokes.
Yeah, it was that one. And we got in the car, and Dad goes, "Don't ever ask me to spend my money on anything like that again." Fair. I was embarrassed. I didn't know, it's not something I wanted to see with my dad. But yeah, so that was fun. Oh, shit. So that's a lot. Okay, are we done with comedy chat?
I think we're done with comedy chat because we've been doing it for an hour.
These are the jokes, folks. Have you read Philadelphia? It's the comic series.
No, I have not.
So I found this because every year when the Eisner Awards come out, I'll scan the list and see if there's anything. Because I'll put a section on Hoopla, which is where I get to download the digital comics from the library, so you can see what they look. And I saw this one because it's nominated for one this year, and I think you would really like it. I'm on volume 3. I started it Sunday.
Okay.
So just basic premise: vampires take over Philadelphia, led by and the coven. The head vampire is John Adams. Former President John Adams, who's been putting together his vampire army since he died of yellow fever, which was actually vampirism. It's like, what is happening? I told Laura, I'm like, every once in a while I think I'm creative. Then somebody writes something like this, and I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Why did I think of something like that?
the notes in the back of the first volume said, I've been trying to, guy says, I love vampire stories. I've been trying to work on one. Couldn't find the right hook for it. Then after I saw Hamilton for the 6th time, I went, John Adams. So I'm the only person who ever saw Hamilton and thought vampires. But yeah, it's a fun read. Yeah. Like I said, I've already blazed through 2 volumes in 2 days. So that's my recommendation for the episode. Philadelphia. So I know you've got something on your desk you want to share.
Yes. So we were talking last time we were talking about Kirby-based action figures.
Right.
And how they should be jointed at the hips to do the wild thing and the splayed out. And while we were talking about it, I looked them up. And what I found out is that, yes, DC Direct at one time did a New Gods line of figures. I think there's like 8 of them all together. And I managed to find a deal on
The
crap.
greatest of the new gods.
The greatest of the new gods, scot-free, Mr.
Mr.
Miracle.
Miracle. That costume will never not be obnoxious.
No, and it pops. And then,
It does.
okay.
There's
And so
nothing wrong with that.
the action figure, as you can see, is detailed with the Kirby musculature.
Uh-huh.
You know, it is seriously
I really wish he'd
posable.
stop putting his scot-free in my face.
Yeah. So wait a minute. So I mean, this thing, it's
Wait, is it jointed at the ankle?
not
Oh,
at the
nice.
ankle, but at the mid calf, the
Okay.
knee, the hip,
Okay.
arms, mid arm, elbow, shoulders, neck. I would say that like the one drawback of this is that I think that the paint job is really kind of soft, and so you see that little mark there on his nip.
Yep, I do see it. Yep.
And now this cape is beautifully sculpted.
Wow. That's an all-time great cape right there.
It's a great cape. There is one problem with it, and that is it is not cast in green. It is painted green.
What color is it?
So it's, you see?
Is it
So
white?
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's white, but like right there where like the cape might
It's
experience some
rubbing.
motion. It's rubbing, or the paint is actually cracked at that point. But he's got Kirby hands.
He does. He's got the square fingers.
He's got the square fingers. Yes.
He's got the rectangle fingers. That's amazing.
He's got the rectangle fingers. He's got,
Okay.
It is a seriously cool. The thing is like 7 inches tall.
See, I
It's
think
heavy and it's solid. I mean, it's not like,
I've seen those on a peg before, but I've never really paid any attention to them because I wasn't thinking, oh, Kirby action figure before we had that conversation.
oh, exactly. And that's the thing. And so, we talked about it. I found this guy loose. Oops. A little bit of an avalanche back there as I just knocked over a bunch of shit. Anyway, yeah, it's a heavy duty. It's pretty well balanced. There is a stand that comes with the one that's still packaged. Yeah, just knocked over a bunch of little mini Spider-Man and
Is that Jimmy?
Jimi Hendrix, the
Nice.
black light action. Funko keeps trying to make this figure platform a thing, right?
Yeah, you've complained about the black light before.
Well, the black light, but this figure is what they call Funko Gold.
What does that mean?
And I don't know. It's vaguely, I argued at first against it being racist, but since most every figure that they've released in this line has been a hip hop or basketball player, I might say that
Wow.
the Funko Gold line may in fact be geared toward an audience that I don't think is collecting a lot of toys.
Okay.
But anyway, that's the one and only gold figure that I will possess.
Well, I want
It's
to
solely because of Jimi Hendrix.
share mine because I've been waiting to share this for a long time. About a year and a half ago, there was an announcement by none other than Greg Gagne of AWA fame
Okay.
that he was working with a company called Power Town Wrestling to do a new series of action figures based on the old AWA figures. Now, I don't know if you remember those AWA Remcos or not. I had a Road Warrior set. They were all cast from the same body, right?
Okay.
They were kind of like He-Man, where they were like akimbo, muscly,
Oh, yeah.
and then they put new heads on them. The figures that they came up with looked nothing like those. I am proud to present. And then they had some quality issues. They had to like push the release back. I pre-ordered one
Okay.
because there was one in the group that I just felt like I had to have. So finally, about 2 days after our last podcast, the one that I ordered arrived.
All
And I'm
righty.
proud to show you the Power Town Wrestling Bruiser
Bruiser
Brody.
Brody. Yes.
Now, this is the packaging. Look at that. Now, watch this.
Very, very cool. Enjoy the whole thing. A little history. Don't
Yeah.
have to take it out of the box.
Shit, hold on. He's got... Shit, I can't line it up. Hold on. Try this again. So he's got the chain. It's shit. I could never do the weather. Here's the chain. Here's the title belt over here.
Oh,
He's got the fuzzy vest down here in the corner.
okay. Oh, nice.
Fuzzy boots. And there's an interchangeable hand that is the chop hand. Right? Yeah. Right there. So you can change it out. So he's got the hus hand. But this is what I haven't taken him out of the box because I'm waiting for this. I may take him out here in a minute. That's what it looks like out of the box.
Nice.
They also did Luthez, Fern Gagne, of course, Magnum TA, Kerry Von Erich, and Stan the Lariat Hansen. So, what do you say we do an unboxing of the
Oh,
Power Town Bruiser Brody?
I like it.
All right, hold on. I came prepared. There's tape on the bottom too. Hold on. All right, let's see what we got here. That sound was the value going down. I have the little mini Bruiser Brody guy, right? And I
Right.
have the WWE Legend Bruiser Brody in my closet upstairs. But this is the best of them all. Holy shit, look at this. It's heavy. It's heavy. Come on.
Yeah.
I hit
What was
Sam.
that?
I hit Sam and Randy Savage at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a 2x4 in here too. You can't see it from the outside of the package.
Oh,
He's articulated shoulder,
bicep.
elbow, wrist,
Oh,
knee. Oh, foot just came off.
okay. Send it back.
I thought that was only the Kerry Von Erich figure that did that.
They are cast from the same body, right?
So chest moves, knees are articulated, feet are articulated. He's got the ponytail in the back. I don't know if you can see the forehead is all scarred up. Let's see. I'm going to dress up my figure in his vest. Hold on. There you go. Hus. There you go.
I like it. Very cool.
And there's the chop hand.
Nice.
And he does
It's
have
awful
a
baggy to put those in.
yep. And then title beltage. So yeah. I'm gonna go on the Power Town figures. I like this guy a lot. I like this guy a lot. They're doing another series. I don't remember who all they're doing, but if you're into this sort of thing, I'm putting the chop hand on while we talk. This is definitely worth taking a look at.
Now, how much do those run?
Like I said, I bought it like a year and a half ago. I don't remember. I think it was about $40, maybe. It was a little high, but
That's
it was
not bad.
I mean, for
They're all getting so much more expensive.
Yeah.
All the action figures are.
Whoos. There's the hand.
I like it.
So that's my big find. It was on my desk this time. What are you looking for at Comic-Con? And we'll wrap this up on our Comic-Con wish list.
I am looking for. I will probably have a list of trades at some point to try and pick up.
Okay.
I'm looking for some of the old Mattel Shogun
Hmm.
Warriors 2 in particular. I'm down to like two of the little 3.5 inchers. Um, there might be a couple of Funko Pops that I'm looking for, but I've pretty much gotten like everything I want. Yeah, so it's like, oh well, if I find the Boston Bruins hockey mascot, I'll pick that one up because I've got all the other hockey mascots.
Okay.
Um, um, but then I think it's just going to be kind of just look around for cool shit,
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, oh, Funko is doing a question pop for the. So, couple things. Preview night. I've been trying to find your preview night pass. I've
Hmm.
been getting zero luck,
Okay.
but I do have a pass to the Funko shop on preview night
Okay.
through the Fanatics board. So, I figured you'd probably want the question.
Yes, please.
So it's like I'm looking at they've been releasing stuff, and so there's a lot of anime and stuff, and you're kind of like, don't want, don't want, don't want. I'm down to like the question, pick that one up for you. And then like there's like three others. So it's like they're gonna have 50 releases. I'm gonna get in early to buy four.
Yes, I would very much like to have the question. Thank you.
Okay, I
Um,
will try and make
uh,
sure I get that.
so I was gonna say I was looking for the Etrigan, right? But I stopped
Yeah.
at the comic shop here by my office the other day, and they had a
Uh-huh.
whole shelf of them. So I just really need to go in and buy one. Um, but I may wait
Okay.
and see if I can find one there just for the fun of it. I did see the other day. I was looking around. There's a Baron Samedi that they did for American Horror Story. I kind of feel like if I could find one of those for my voodoo shelf over here, it would be kind of fun.
That would be cool. I'm trying to think of um
I'm looking it up. I'll show you a picture in a second. So yeah, and then I'm like looking for some trades. Maybe I can find the Commandy.
mhm.
Uh, you know, I don't know. I'm just going to have fun.
Okay.
There's actually two.
Oh, it's all
There's
one word.
there's the James Bond one, which that's not the one I saw. Um, shit. So yeah, that's again. If I can find that, it would be fun for my voodoo shelf.
No, I have not seen him. I've seen the one they did for Bond.
Um,
Excuse me.
It's Papa Legba. Sorry, I got the wrong Loa. Legba.
Gotcha.
Here,
Oh yeah, yeah, that's a good one. I've seen that one.
kind of looks like Slash meets Alice Cooper. So, so that's next week, and wow, that's next week.
I know, I know. I am flying in. My flight it leaves at like 6 in the morning here, and it was a combination of price and availability.
Hmm.
And so I was like getting my parking pass for the garage at the airport. I'm like, I got to be there at like 4:30. What the fuck was I thinking?
Oh, fuck.
Because I changed planes in Vegas, and I think I get in there 9 o'clock local time.
Okay. Yeah, I leave at like here at like 2:30, so I think I get there at 2:30, right? Because it's a direct, so it's a
Oh, nice,
wash.
nice, nice.
It's a wash. So
So yeah, so hopefully I will be in there super early, and we'll drop my bags off at the hotel if I don't just
take a nap at the airport.
take a nap at the airport. I mean, I'll get there, yeah, because I figure, well, I'll get there to the hotel at around 10:30.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, and if there is no early check-in available, then we'll figure it out.
And then I'll get in and we'll go hit Lolita's, and then I'll find something to entertain myself while you go to preview night, and then we'll reconnect and go
Hmm.
from there.
Yeah, my goal is if I get into Funko. Oh, hey, excuse me. Go to the portal because you've got passes. you get so many chances to get into exclusive booths and whatnot.
Oh, I saw that. I haven't done it yet. I need to do that.
So I think it's open until like almost the day before.
Okay.
And I guess they've added a bunch more stuff than when I did it a few days ago.
Okay,
Like
I'll take a look at it
signings and
tomorrow.
things.
Cool.
So, there's some opportunities to see some kind of fun stuff maybe
Yeah.
and figure out the panels, and then Friday fun days. That'll be fun.
And I leave at like late afternoon, early evening on Saturday. So I'm there most of the day Saturday. So
Okay, cool.
so
So, all right, cool.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for episode 62 of Slurp Toast, the podcast. I think I'm going to call this one "Comedy is Not Pretty," and go from there.
I like
All right,
it.
bro.
All right, man.
I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
I guess I'm still Bruce,
I'm still Steve.
and we'll see you
Bye.
after Comic-Con. Bye.